Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Scribbles here. I am back today with a brand new video. So in today's video, excuse my mess, we are going to be painting some fluffy clouds on a black canvas. So this is a canvas that I had considered trashed. It was a painting that didn't quite work out, but that's okay. Don't throw those canvases away. Cover them up with black gesso and we're going to paint some pretty fluffy clouds on them today. Alright, so to get started here, we want a black canvas the size of your choosing and some paint. So we're going to be using white paint today, a fan brush, and any kind of transparent paint that you can think of. And you know what, it doesn't have to be transparent, but it does work out just a little bit softer and a little bit better if you use transparent paint. So we're going to do a couple of different colors in our cloudy sky tonight. Let's see what we've got over here. I have got some quinacridone magenta. I have got a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I believe I've got some quinacridone violet on my canvas, so that are on my palette. So that's what we're going to be using today. All right. So first things first, as with all the other paintings that we've done, which is literally one, I believe, we're going to put some liquid clear all over the surface of our canvas. So myself, I use the Neo Meg Gilt by Gamblin, but you can use liquid clear by Bob Ross or anything else. Let me grab this real quick. This is not the sturdiest boy in the whole wide world. He likes to adjust on me. So we're just going to cover this in liquid clear. All this does is provide a somewhat moist surface for the paint to settle on and mix on. So again, you want the canvas itself to glisten but not be overly saturated. I will show you what my canvas looks like as soon as I get it coated. I want to make sure that I coat the entire thing. All right. There we go. Nice, thin, even coat of that. Excuse the black paint all over my hands. I just covered this with gesso, and I can't seem to do that without making a complete and total mess. So this is what my canvas looks like. You can tell that it glistens, but there's not a whole lot of goop on top of the surface. All right, now we're going to grab a rather decent sized brush for whatever canvas that you're using. I'm going to grab this one here, which is just a really old oil painting brush. It's got about an inch wide tip on it, so I'm going to use this and we're going to go in with some colors. All right, so we've got the quinacridone magenta on our brush, and we're just going to smudge that into the canvas. Just anywhere on the canvas that you want. You can go all over the canvas with one single color, or you can go over the canvas with multiple colors. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to use up what I've got on my palette from some previous things in the quinacridone magenta, and I'm gonna lay that down. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of alizarin crimson to give a couple of varying shades in what we're doing here. So again, you can use all one color or you can use multiple colors. How's that ASMR for you? The scrubbiness of the brush, can you hear that? So we're going to use just a couple of colors here and just get some depth in our piece, and just a little variation of color. Alright, and in addition to that, I've got just a little bit of quinacridone violet left on my canvas as well, or on my palette. I don't know why I keep calling it my canvas. So I'm just going to fill in any empty spot and just swirl that mixture of colors around on my canvas here. If you have some black space still on your canvas, that is perfectly fine as well. Again, these are transparent colors, so when I tip it into the light, you can kind of see where that color has laid down. But on the surface, if you're looking at it from your point of view, it's not going to look like you're doing a whole lot to the canvas itself, because these are transparent colors. The black still consumes them. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the clouds themselves to life with a fan brush and some white paint. I'm going to grab my trusty beat up fan brush. This bad boy is my favorite. And we're going to grab some white paint. I don't have any white paint on my palette at the moment, so I'm going to grab some really quickly. For this technique and for the last technique when we did the auroras, you are using a very, very minimal amount of paint. So just the slightest smidge of paint on your palette is going to be plenty for you to work with. So don't overdo it when you go to put your paint on your palette. You can always put more paint on, but you don't want to waste oil paint because, you know, they can get rather expensive really, really quickly, and you definitely don't want to waste that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a nice poofy soft brush to blend out as well. So this is my trusty blendy brush here. Use whatever you've got on hand. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start making our clouds. So to do that, I'm going to coat my fan brush in the white. Just get it all over the tips of the fan brush, and we're going to swirl that white paint through our colors. You can take and wipe off in between, or you can leave that little bit of color on your paintbrush, and then you're going to dip into the white again, and you're going to put in your next cloud. So we're just going to work this around and make another cloud. So there's my second cloud, and then we're going to come back in maybe a third time. We're going to start over here. We're going to make this one poof out over there. So there is cloud number 3. Alright, so that is our starting point for our clouds. And now we're going to smush out the bottom. We're going to blend the bottoms of those clouds out into our colors and make them look really, really poofy. So you just want to go along the bottom. And what that's going to do is, like in our Aurora painting, it is going to blend that white with the colors underneath it, and it's going to make for some really pretty results. It's really going to fade out the color, and if you want to use a smaller brush and really get in there, you can definitely do that as well. But the more you blend, the more the color underneath will take over your white paint. So that's what we're doing, is we're just allowing that color underneath to take over and form our clouds. Now you can do this to whatever extent you want it to. You can keep blending until those are nice and soft underneath. You can grab, let me grab a smaller brush. You can grab a smaller brush and come in here for some more detailed work and really push those colors up in there and get into those spots. We'll use the smaller color down, or smaller brush down here. You want a smaller cloud that's maybe not quite as poofy as this top one. You just want to hit those edges below this and get in there with a smaller brush. You want to leave those tops in there. So those tops are what are gonna give you that little bit of cloud texture with those nice billowy, boofy clouds you see in the sky. You're gonna get that texture from the white up there. Now what I like to do personally is get the clouds themselves formed out, and then we're going to go back in and we're going to add some more detail. I'm going to blend that just a little bit more and get that nice and softened up, and then we're going to go back in with our white and we're going to add some more detail to these clouds. I like to do that with the tip of my fan brush, and I like to run it back through some of the colors and just smush it around. You can work these clouds as little or as much as you want, and you can add as little as much or as much as you want. So I'm probably going to soften the edges of these little bottom swooshes, I guess you can call them. I'm going to work these out just a little bit more and go back in with my little blender brush. But if you want to leave them in completely, you can. That is an option as well. And then I also like to come in just above the cloud and add some fun little wisps of clouds right around them. So a cloud isn't necessarily one massive source. There's little bitty bits that sort of break off of it into the atmosphere, and I like to add a few of those around the top of the clouds, just to give it a little bit more depth and a little bit more interest to sort of look at. Alright, so we've got that. I'm going to set this to the side. I got brushes falling all over the place, which is pretty much how we do things. And I'm just going to soften up some of the edges on the bottom of those wisps that I put in the clouds. And it just gives a little bit of added texture. You see that to the actual cloud itself. Just hitting that bottom edge so that the cloud itself has depth. And then I'm going to take my larger brush one more time and very softly, barely hitting the page, I'm going to take, or hitting the canvas, I'm going to take and I'm just going to brush up just a little bit on the clouds and give them a nice wispy feel. Just like that. Just a nice wispy feel on the top. And the last thing that I do on a painting like this is add in the stars. Stars are really fun and really easy. What you want to do is you want to take your white paint. You want to get the slightest amount of paint thinner on your brush to thin down your paint. This is where I tend to make a mess. You get the slightest bit of paint thinner. You can use liquid white for this if you like, and you're going to grab a palette knife or something similar. You can also use your finger. Move these out of the way. Hop down there, thank you. And you're going to take and you're going to sprinkle stars all over your cloudy sky, just like that. Just like that. What is a nighttime cloudy sky without a bunch of stars? So again, this is a painting that absolutely anybody can do, and you can get started with oil painting with simple things like this. These are some of my favorite things to do just to get in and practice with oils and get comfortable with using oil paints. So there is absolutely no real right or wrong with something like this, and so absolutely anybody can do it. But this is how I paint a colorful cloudy night sky in oil paint. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know how you did down in the comments below. We have a Discord as well. If you would like to share your pictures, I would love to see your pictures. And if you participated in the auroras last week, show us your work and I will comment on all of them there. I love seeing it, so I'm so happy to be doing these tutorials. And if there is something in particular you would like to see, let me know down in the comments below. But that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Make sure that you smash that subscribe button and the notification bell so you are informed each and every time I upload new content, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye y'all. Now I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to each and every one of my patrons. Without you, I would not be able to do this for a living. So thank you so much for your support. If you would like exclusive coloring pages, prints, creature cards, and all kinds of fun line work, then check out the Patreon link in the description box below.